Alright, you guys, we're going to do what's next in your career. I was guided to do a career reading. I feel like some of you guys are closing out a cycle with your career, with your path, is what I'm hearing. You're opening a new door. You got a lot of projects going on. You got a lot of things on your mind is what I'm hearing. Some of you guys may have a 9 to 5 job. You may be like in a government issue job, if that makes sense. Like you're punching a tab is what I'm hearing. You're punching a clock. You don't want to do that anymore, and I feel like you're thinking about walking away from it. I feel like if you do, I feel like you're going to be very successful. Like you're going to achieve the things that you want out of life. You're going to get the blessing that you want for yourself. You could be dealing with some karmic ties as well, is what I'm hearing. Yeah, you got the Ace of Wands here. There's a lot of growth. Like I feel like you've been through an experience of the lifetime, is what I'm hearing. It's like God is giving you the sword and allowed you to cut yourself free. He is giving you the wand. He's giving you the scroll. But I feel like you got to act upon it, if that makes sense. You can't. You also got the Ace of Cups here on the bottom of the deck. Like you got to be more. You got to be outside your thoughts. Does that make sense? You can't be inside your thoughts and expect a change, if that makes sense. And I feel like you're experiencing change, but you're not taking the initiative to actually make this change happen. And you're being called into a higher purpose, a higher division of yourself, if that makes sense. It's like you are aligning yourself and you're clearing out old energy. You guys may felt that is we're going to just clear energy out real fast. We're just going to align everything completely from the highest good, and we're going to remove anything bad from our energetic auric field, and we're going to cut all ties that is allowing us to hang on to the past, if that makes sense, so that way we can move forward and we can unconditionally soar in our soul path and our soul mission, so to speak. So that is being cleared away, and you are being activated into a higher frequency that is going to allow you to allow you to connect more with your spirit guides, allow you to connect more to the higher divine human of life, if that makes sense. Does that make sense? Like you come here to be a life path activator. You come here to be a life path um portal, if that makes sense. And we're going to clear out all the old lower dimension timelines. We're going to cut those free, and we're going to activate the higher timeline frequencies that are going to help you escape reality. Some of you guys just need to escape reality now. We're going to clear that out so that way we can move forward and we can advance into what our angels want us to do for ourselves, so to speak. Yeah, 601. You got a lot of success. There's a lot of potential here. Like, but you got to make the jump on it, if that makes sense. You got to release that part of your root chakra that builds fear, if that makes sense. You've got to wash that out of your root chakra. Spiritual baths. I'm seeing like a waterfall coming through all your chakras and just realigning them and washing the fear away, if that makes sense. You need to wash the fear away. So somebody needs to wash the fear. Yeah. Yeah. See, you're getting enlightenment, but you're scared to cut it off. Don't do that. Clear that out of your energy now. Just remove it and let it be. God is forcing you in a different direction. You don't need to hang on to the past, because there's two brand new opportunities that are coming in. There are two soldiers standing by your side, is what I'm hearing. They're going to help you do astonishing things, so to speak. Yeah, 9 of Cups. Your wishes are being fulfilled here. Like, it's going to bring you a lot of security, but you got to quit holding back. If you want your soul to align to your soul journey and your soul path, you've got to quit holding back, and that's what you're doing. You're stuck in contemplation. You're stuck inside your head right now. It's kind of like you're letting the ego take over. You need to get the motivation to move forward and soar into the new path that is being activated for you. You need to quit holding on. Quit holding on to something you're never going to achieve nothing at. Does that make sense? You're going to be stuck at the same. You're going to be stuck on the same roller coaster ride over and over again, and you're done with that roller coaster ride. If that makes sense. Yeah. Heal that part of you. Heal the holding on part. Activate the new part of you. So if you're thinking about walking away from your job, I feel like you should. I feel like you should quit holding on to it. Yeah, you're holding on to it for security purposes. You're holding on to it for financial pleasure, is what I'm hearing, but it's not making you happy anymore. Like it's not putting you, it's not putting the expanse in your life that you want for yourself, if that makes sense. It's not allowing you to help yourself open up more spiritually. It's keeping you stuck in the matrix, because it's keeping you stuck in the 3D diagram that is forced by the government, if that makes sense. Does that make sense? I just need to change this song. Just hold on. I'm making me high. So it may be a pause whenever you walk away from this job. Like you may have to go through some karmic betrayal, if that makes sense. You may have put betrayal upon people, and it may cause, as soon as you quit this job, there may be a pause. But I feel like you got some savings put up, and I feel like you're gonna be okay. Like you're gonna be prosperous before your savings runs out, if that makes sense. Yeah, especially with the moon here. Like it's some hidden shit that you're not seeing because you are stuck in that ego, and you are stuck in that phase of life, if that makes sense. You're stuck in that programming of, oh my God, I gotta get up at 4:30 in the morning. I gotta go to work. I gotta do this. Work till 1 or 2 o'clock. Come home, clean the house. Don't never got time for myself. That is done because you are activating a higher light and a higher power within inside of yourself that is helping you expand more to help more people. Whether it be somebody does a lot of potions here. You're mixing up herbs, you're putting in them in little jars. They are going to sell, but you also need to remember as well, as you're mixing up those jars, you need to do more healing potions and more energy potions than you do need to do spell potions, if that makes sense. So energy and healing is going to be more your work than the spell is going to be your work, if that makes sense. So then you are going to understand this more once you get out of your ego. You have to set free your ego. And you're not allowing yourself to do that because you are stuck in the 3D. You haven't spiritually advanced enough to understand that, because there is lessons that need to be learned here. This is my favorite video. I love this video. He's so fine. That man. You making me out, Tony Bryson. That man's so fine. Alright. Yeah, justice is here. It's going to bring you a lot of balance, but you got to take the initiative and really take action into what you want. So this is on you. Like, this is your decision. You can stay stuck where you are, or you can allow this new opportunity to come in. But I do feel like there is karma that does need to be played out here to bring balance, to get this new start in your life, if that makes sense. Does that make sense? Like, if somebody is stuck in an ego-based mode, and you guys know, if you've been watching me for a while, you have to have ego. Like, if you don't have ego, you're not going to have strength. But somebody's stuck in that phase of, oh my God, I know it all. I'm doing this right. I'm doing this right. But in reality, you're doing it in a different direction because you are stuck in these lower fantasy frequencies. Does that make sense? You're stuck in a lower, and I don't give a shit how many books you read. If you don't understand yourself and you don't experience yourself, that book is not going to tell you anything. So, with that being said, take me away. Alright. So there is balance coming in, but I feel like there needs to be some truth that brings in this balance. Like you need to sit back, take a time out, meditate, go within inside of your soul, ask God, ask Jesus to come in and help you meditate. That's what I feel like. You need to ask Jesus to help you meditate. Ask your archangels, ask your angels to stand beside you and guard you, and only allow the foremost, highest light, the most high God to come in and guide you, is what I'm hearing. You need to allow that most high God. Don't say no names. Say the Most High God. Don't sit here and say, oh, I'm calling in Zeus. I'm calling in Hecate. I'm calling in God. I'm calling. Allow the Most High God to come in and remove that lower programming and that lower frequency and show you the way of light. Show you the way of love, is what I'm hearing. Because each and every single one of us, as humans, we have to find that light within inside of us. And yes, we have to go through that ego phase. We have to go through that darkness. We have to go through extremities of pain, if that that makes sense, to search and find who we are. And I feel like some of you guys that I'm talking to, you're wanting to quit your job, but you're just now in that first stage of ascension. Like you're just now finding out who you truly are, if that makes sense. And whenever you go through that part of you, and whenever you first awaken, and whenever you first search for who you are, there's a lot of things that you unlock within inside of yourself. You're unlocking darkness. You're unlocking past life pain. You're unlocking this life pain. Like you're unlocking so many different diaphragms of yourself that you didn't even know or realize that you had. And you have to get that under control. You have to get it kosher in your life so that way you can move forward and build a more strengthening path for yourself, if that makes sense. Does that make sense? So as you're unlocking these qualities of yourself and unlocking these desires of yourself, there are karmic lessons that you have to go through, whether they be good lessons, whether they be bad lessons. And I feel like you yourself choosing to walk in a different direction, choosing to stand on your own 2 feet, and choosing to move into the spiritual path that you need to, that you use for yourself, if that makes sense. You're needing to, somebody may be traveling worldwide here. I looked up and I seen different flags. So somebody may be I know that's so off topic, but somebody may be traveling different countries here. 1111 as I say that. Um, I kind of got thrown off track. Jesus, Lord help me. I've been saying that for the last 2 days, y'all. So, anyways, back to my point. Back to my point. Where was I at? as you're unlocking your soul, because going through an ascension and path and waking up to what is going on in the world, and waking up to your past lives, and waking up to all this other stuff, waking up to the aliens, waking up to the different dimensions, waking up to the wormholes, waking up to all of it. You unlock a part of yourself that you never knew you had because you've been programmed in a different way for so long. Does that make sense? So, as you're unlocking this truth within inside of you, you have to understand that truth more to allow yourself not to bring in any darkness or bringing in any fake gods, if that makes sense. Because each book you read, yes, I'm just saying, each book you read about Hecate, about the Norse gods, about Greek mythology, about the ancient India gods, about the ancient Egyptian gods, that is a fucking book just like the Bible. And you don't know what you're unlocking. These are books that have been rewritten over and over and over again. Does that make sense? So, when you are praying, or when you're manifesting, or when you're asking for something in your life to unlock, you need to ask the most high God of light. Does that make sense? You need to ask the most high God of spiritual awareness. You need to ask the most high God, the creator of everything. It doesn't matter, like in that one movie, I don't care what they call me, as long as they bring love, as long as they bring light. They don't bring any hate upon each other. So that's more what you need to be more classified on. Is not by calling different gods in or different goddesses in. You need to be calling in that most high form of light in, that is going to help you restructure and rebuild your DNA sequence, so that way you can finalize this last step in this ascension model that you're going through. I'm seeing like a bunch of DNA diaphragms here, and it's like, yeah, we got to key code this, and we got to translate this, but then we also need to move over here and do the same thing. So how do we get both of these DNA sequences um, balanced out? Does that make sense? Because when you got two lines there on your DNA spiral, so it's like you got to, yes, some of these bridges are broke. This is the ladder that I'm climbing on my DNA, but this one's broken, this one isn't. So how do I restructure this one to make this one form the right direction, so that way I can ascend and I can awaken to my highest truth and my soul destined path. And I feel like that's a lot of what you guys are going through right now. You're restructuring your DNA, but yet you're only at level 2. You haven't moved up. You haven't awakened the rest of your DNA contents. Does that make sense? So you need to take a step back and really just visualize yourself and work on that one DNA strand that needs to be repaired and reactivated. Quit trying to jump levels. You're not a high priestess yet. And I don't know who that's for. That's not for everybody. But you're not where you need to be before you start casting, because you don't know what you're doing as you're casting, because you haven't allowed your DNA to repair properly. Does that make sense? Somebody may need to do a DNA repair meditation as well. That's actually going to help you, but it's kind of like you couldn't fix that DNA, you couldn't fix that breakage in that DNA line, so you just bypass that. You need to take a step back and really heal and anchor that part of your DNA, so that way you can fix it correctly and you can move on to the next part of your ascension. 1515 as I'm saying that. So, with that being said, judgment is here. If you're thinking about switching careers, I do feel like it is going to be good for you. Like, I feel like it's going to open up a new part of you, if that makes sense, and it's going to help you repair this DNA. Does that make sense? But I feel like you got to let go of the 3D programming, and to do that, you have to walk away from that 9 to 5. So, with that being said, yeah, it's going to bring you happiness. What you don't see is it's going to be bring happiness, because you've been worried about everybody else and not fixated on yourself. Like, you've been worried about what everybody else is doing. You haven't taken the time to fixate yourself. You haven't taken the time to heal yourself. You're not even worried about your own DNA. You worried about everybody else's DNA structures. You need to take a step back and worry about yourself right now, baby. That's what I feel like. Take a step back, do what you feel is right in your gut, walk away from that 9 to 5, and get onto your music, onto what it is that you want to do in this life. Does that make sense? So you're being called in to be. Some of you guys are very strong healers, and you're more fixated on the spell work. You need to really pull away from that spell work. That spell work is going to get you in trouble eventually, because you think you know what you're doing, because you're reading these books and oh my God, I can do it this way. You need to pull away from that. Allow God to fight your battles. You don't got to fight them. You don't got to fight your battles. God has always got you. He always finds a way. There's actually one video I was talking about how God He's going to put all your battles in his hands, and he's going to crush that shit up, and he's going to throw it back at them and let them fix the broken pieces. So you need to let go of the spell work. Somebody needs to let go of the spell work is here as well. Manifest. Your thoughts is your spells. Your voice is your spells. You need to remember that as well. Spelling is spelling words. That is your spells. You don't need all this other extra work. That is not what we came here to do. We come here to heal and love and recreate. So you also need to remember that as you're moving forward into this new business that you are creating. Ten of Pentacles is on the bottom of the deck. So yeah, it is going to be a lot of success. So with that being said, y'all, I didn't even want to go read back live, but I did. So there's your career reading. Peace.